You've heard the debates, right? Is Silicon Valley still the place to be? What about London or Tel Aviv? Everyone's always trying to name the best city to launch a business. But honestly, what does best even mean? So let's get into it, because the real answer is so much more interesting than just another top 10 list.
So, how in the world would you even begin to rank over 1,000 cities spread across 100 different countries? It sounds impossible. But that's the exact challenge a massive new directory took on. And what they figured out is that to get a meaningful answer, you can't just look at it from one angle. You actually need two completely different lenses.
Okay, so the first lens is probably what you'd expect. It's the big data-heavy approach. They call it the total score. Think of this as the analytical view, the one that measures the raw economic power and the overall health of a city's entire startup ecosystem. And this total score? It's not just some random number. It's actually built on three key pillars: quantity, quality, and business. And these aren't just separate metrics. They're designed to work together to give us a really powerful snapshot of a city's strategic advantages.
So what's in the quantity score? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. We're talking about the raw numbers, the sheer volume of stuff happening. You know, how many startups are there? How many co-working spaces can you find? How many accelerators are around to help you get started? It's really the basic infrastructure of innovation.
But here's the thing. A great ecosystem isn't just about how many startups there are. It's about how successful they are. And that's exactly where the quality score comes in. This one looks past the raw numbers to measure real achievement. We're talking about the heavy hitters here, the billion-dollar unicorns, the big-time acquisitions or exits, and those legendary Pantheon companies. This is where you really see a city's power players.
And finally, the business score kind of zooms out to the bigger picture, the national level. It asks a really simple question: is the country itself a good, stable place for a business to grow? This adds some super important context, especially when you're trying to understand the potential of cities in some of these up-and-coming startup scenes. So when you put it all together, this ecosystem score gives you a fantastic look at a city's performance and its economic muscle. But it kind of leads to a whole different question, doesn't it? I mean, a business isn't just a line in a spreadsheet. It's run by actual people. What about the founder's day-to-day personal experience? And that brings us to our second lens, which is designed to answer that exact question. It's called the MeanCEO Index. You can think of it as the founder score, and it totally flips the script. It ranks cities based on how supportive and livable they are, and it has a special focus on the experience of female entrepreneurs. This is the human side of the whole equation. And just look at the factors here. They are a world away from what we saw before. We've gone from unicorns and accelerators to things like inclusivity, the quality of the food scene, healthcare, and that really crucial, intangible startup mindset. This is all about whether a city is a place you can not just work, but a place you can truly live.
So now we have these two powerful but very different ways of looking at a city. One is super analytical and strategic, the other is human-centric and personal. And you know, the real genius here is that the directory doesn't make you choose one over the other. It basically insists that you need to use both.
And this really is the main takeaway. Finding the best city isn't about which one tops a single list. It's about finding the perfect balance for you, a place that hits that sweet spot between your strategic needs and your personal needs. So what does all this mean for you then? Well, that's the final, and I think the most important takeaway. The point of all of this isn't just to hand you a ranking. It's to give you a framework to make your own decision.
In fact, in the directory's own words, their whole mission is to guide you to the perfect startup city that meets your strategic and personal needs. You know, the most important words there are perfect and your. This is all about a personalized journey, not some universal one-size-fits-all answer.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. Just for a moment, forget the headlines, forget the top 10 lists. Using these two lenses, the strategic one and the personal one, what does your perfect city actually look like? The answer might just surprise you.